Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year's and welcome to the Wednesday New Year's Day bowl games we have with the college football playoff as we kick off this quarterfinal round. We got 3 games starting at 1 o'clock and then pretty much won't be till 1 o'clock in the morning on Thursday that we get to kind of shut down and quit watching football. So let's get into it. I'm going to share with you guys my best bets for these 3 games. We'll do a quick recap from yesterday as well. And if you have not done so, make sure you have subscribed to this channel. Start off 2025 in the right direction. Be sure to smash that like button. And as always, guys, make sure you follow me on X and on the Discord. Okay, completely free platforms that I do post on. So make sure you guys are all involved in those areas. Okay, so let's get into it. We are going to use Outlier to get down into the picks. And this is where, if you guys don't use Outlier, probably should start 2025 at least trying it. All right, 7-day free trial. Use my link down below. Okay. But the first game that we are going to talk about is going to be Arizona State and Texas. Now, a lot of things within these games and matchups that you cannot use regular season data to kind of translate into postseason play. Things kind of matter, right? Layoffs, opt-outs, transfers, final schedules, everything, holiday season, everything has a role within kind of a different mindset, especially with a situation such as Texas and Arizona State. Texas, in my opinion, looked kind of a little bit fugazi going against Clemson. Okay, I'm not a believer, full disclosure. Penn State, Texas, those are 2 of my teams I do believe that are fake. In a sense of the word. I think they're great football teams, but I think in a field that's wide open, I think that they're getting a little bit too much praise for not quite frankly doing anything, okay? So let's get into it. Arizona State is a intriguing kind of matchup for Texas, right? Cam Scatabo, one of my favorite players in college football, go alongside another running back, as we saw with Ashton Jeanty last night. That was a interesting game unfold. I was on the under. That was my best bet for the game. So for those of you that tailed, congratulations. I think that number personally was about 8 to 10 points too high. For a Penn State offense that, quite frankly, I don't believe in a run script. Okay, we saw Boise State was running, trying to get Jeanty the record when the game was out of reach, and then obviously not being able to score, giving up that late touchdown, and not being able to score in the final 3 minutes as they got the ball back and through that late pick. That's all we needed to cover the point spread there on the back end. So almost a little backdoor cover. Personally, I think the game was a lot closer than what the scoreboard showed, and congratulations to Penn State for getting that one done and advancing. All right, but as we look into today, 1 o'clock, Arizona State and Texas, right? We talk a little bit about Cam Scatabo. Like I said, one of my favorite players to watch. Kenny Dillingham, a great coach for the Sun Devils, winning the Big 12 in their first year. Now, that was an intriguing fact within college football on the first year of kind of this conference realignment. Teams that are new to the conference has won, right? We got SMU, we got Texas, we got Arizona State in the Big 12, and as we look into Oregon in the Big 10. So very fascinating to see kind of how this all realignment kind of played out. And as we were left with 2 teams that got first-round buys, are arguably looking to get blown out in the second round. We'll see what happens, okay? But I think that Texas, for my money, is, everybody says they have a great defense, right? I have to pump the brakes on that and say not so fast. I do kind of align with that word in terms of defense. I just don't know how great it is, okay? And losing twice to Georgia, I think that really does expose you. I think that if you can't play with that level of competition and that size on both sides of the ball, okay, I think that where it lends to the argument that maybe Texas isn't cut out to make it through the playoff, and that's just kind of where I'm at. I think that right now Texas looked a little vulnerable against Clemson, so I'm not going to have enough of the stones to take the Sun Devils with the points. Okay, you can find plus 12.5, and I think closer to game time, probably even a 13.5 in the market. However, I do think that we look into this game being a shootout. That's going to be my best bet for this game. I do like the over in Texas, Arizona State, and right now, guys, if you want to see it, we can find kind of where we're at within this, in the number currently at 52.5. That is my best bet. 52.5 is where I'll be at for the Arizona State Texas game. That is the first one on the card. Okay, but as we look further into the board, we're going to talk about that middle middle game between Ohio State and Oregon. This is one, guys, where I have a pretty strong play on the over as well. I think this is one where you get a lot of shootouts. Both of these teams averaging almost 7 yards per play or above last time they face each other. Oregon's gotten better. And Ohio State defensively, in my opinion, has gotten better as well. Okay, so it does lend towards kind of the argument that we do get a defensive-led club, maybe a little bit different kind of a chess match. But I think that what we saw with Oregon against Penn State, this is going to be a shootout in my personal opinion. So I'm all over the Oregon-Ohio State over both of these teams as we look into it. And scoring 12th, 11th, respectively. Great with converting first downs. The pass yards for the Ducks, what we were able to see, they almost had in that first matchup, it was completely crazy, over 450 yards. Okay, that's a crazy output. And for my money, guys, I was actually in Vegas watching this game. I quit watching it at halftime because I thought Ohio State was going to run away with it. And then 3 special teams turnovers by the Buckeyes against the Ducks. That's kind of where the game shifted momentum, and Oregon was able to hold off a late in the game surge and push for Ohio State, and we know how that all ended. So I do fall into the idea that it's hard to beat a team twice in one season as well. This one being on a neutral field lends to the discussion that we are going to be taking Ohio State minus 2.5. It's kind of interesting to see them favored, to be honest, though. And don't fall into that trap, right? Oregon's undefeated. They've never lost. They beat this team, but they're underdogs. Yeah, it's disrespect. Yes, it's but just because your record's undefeated doesn't mean that you should be favored in any game. That's all for the news and the media, and that has nothing to do with the actual numbers. Okay, so that's where I'm at. I just lean Buckeyes, and if you're going to force me, I do take I will lay the minus 2.5. But for me, this is another play for the over. I personally think this one gets up in the 60s. Quite frankly, pretty easy. So I like the Buckeyes. I think this is one where we have a great back and forth, kind of setting the table for what we see within the late slate action within Notre Dame and the Georgia Bulldogs. So this is kind of a rubber match that we get in some form or fashion. Georgia and Notre Dame have played a lot of non-conferences, and it's kind of funny to think about that Notre Dame lost to a Northern Illinois club in week 2 of the season. So there you go, guys. If you can't do an award for the most improved team, I really, quite frankly, can't. I don't think you even need to this year, because now you look at a 12-1 Notre Dame team that has a lot of betting experts thinking they are the kind of long shot to win it all. I think they have the easiest path to get to the final. And I said that before when I did predict that it would be Notre Dame, Ohio State in the national championship. That would be my prediction if we were going to do an exacta before this all started. For those of you that are on Notre Dame futures and looking to hedge off of it from back when they were like 30-1 when they lost to Northern Illinois. Congrats. That's a lot of value that you can have. But for me, guys, I think this is just something where I look at obviously, don't be stupid. I'm wearing a Notre Dame shirt, but I try to stay objective. I personally think this is just a classic field game for me. Notre Dame's defense greatly impacted by the loss of Riley Mills up front on defense. That line's going to be impacted. How healthy will Howard Cross be? Those are 2 very important questions going against a Georgia running game that is, quite frankly, very stout. They're going to play SEC football. It's a specific brand of football, and you have to have the players equipped to defend that football. So also, we do see Carson Beck will not be playing for this game. So making a first start, he's a talented player, had some quality minutes against Texas. So it's nothing where he's going to, the stage is going to be too big for him. But for me, guys, I think this is something where Notre Dame's made these business trips. I think that there's too many people on Georgia. I personally think that this is a Notre Dame money line play for me. I'm usually kind of the one that, as a Notre Dame fan, I'm usually the guy that bets against them in these spots just due to the fact that they can't win these games. However, I think this year is different. Defensively, by the numbers, it's there. Georgia struggles to defend a mobile, running, dual-threat quarterback. Riley Leonard has gotten exceedingly better as improving with throwing of the football. He's more comfortable back there in the pocket. And yeah, he looks like a pure breed runner, a thoroughbred. It's something where I've never seen a quarterback do what he does in terms of sit, 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 and then he knows exactly when to take off, and he's very comfortable getting a 5-6 yard gain. And in a game that looks to be a very back and forth, close to the vest, kind of phone booth game, defensive minded game, I do think that Notre Dame has the edge offensively with the brand of football that they do possess. So big question, though, is just Georgia. Can they guard a mobile quarterback? What's going to happen? I personally think that this is going to be a very kind of close, like I said, close to the vest game. I think that we get a total at 44.5. I think we get a lot of money on it down. So I do look for the total to go under, lean under Notre Dame, Georgia, taking Notre Dame. That will be a same game teaser bet for me as well, teasing the total. Going under, as well as taking Notre Dame up to plus 7.5 or 8.5. Right now, you can find on FanDuel Notre Dame plus 2.5. So that's very, very enticing. We'll see what happens closer to kick. But for me, guys, and my money, those are my best bets for today. Can't overthink it. If you don't know what these teams possess this late in the season, then you pretty much are left out on an island. But for me, guys, I'm going over Arizona State, Texas, over Buckeyes, Oregon, lean Ohio State minus 2.5, and going under Georgia, Notre Dame with a lean on Notre Dame money line. So that's going to be my best bets. Good luck out there. Let's cash some tickets. We have a couple games we're targeting with the weekend slate of college football on Friday and Saturday. So it's an action-packed weekend, and just enjoy the day like today, because it doesn't happen too often. Eat some pork, get some sauerkraut in you, and don't drink too much if you have to go to work tomorrow. And we'll see you all in the next video. Happy New Year's, everyone.